Hello there. The UK Brexit negotiators have now made public their draft legal texts on a future UK-EU relationship and sent a rather stinging letter to Brussels too. Firstly, please subscribe and like this video to give my channel a boost, and I'm always uploading new content, so please do check back daily. The UK Chief Brexit Negotiator, David Frost, has now made the UK proposed legal texts on a future UK-EU relationship public, but has also sent a rather blunt letter to his EU counterpart Michel Barnier. The documents that have now been published include a draft comprehensive free trade agreement, as well as draft agreements covering air transport, civil aviation safety, energy, social security coordination, civil nuclear matters, law and judicial cooperation, and fisheries, and a little bit more on that one in a minute. But it's the frosty letter that really sets out the UK position, covering three specific points. In the letter, David Frost asks very reasonable questions about the way the EU is trying to treat the UK when compared to the likes of Canada, South Korea, Chile, Japan, New Zealand, Australia, Mexico, the US and the Mercosur group. And he says, "First, we have tried to be clear consistently that we are looking for a suite of agreements with a free trade agreement at the core. We do not seek to remain part of the single market or customs union, as we do not believe this is in the UK's interest." And he covers a very pertinent question when he says, "Overall, we find it hard to see what makes the UK, uniquely among your trading partners, so unworthy of being offered the kind of well-precedented arrangements commonplace in modern free trade agreements." And on the much beloved by the EU level playing field, Frost writes, "We agreed in good faith a set of commitments in the political declaration in this area. Although it continues to be suggested that we are not willing to deliver on these commitments, as you know, our text sets out a comprehensive set of proposals designed specifically, as the political declaration puts it, to prevent distortions of trade and unfair competitive advantages. Our proposals are closely modelled on similar arrangements already agreed by the EU with similar countries, notably in the Canada Free Trade Agreement." And he also says, "Your text contains novel and unbalanced proposals which would bind this country to EU law or standards and would prescribe the institutions which we would need to establish to deliver on these provisions. To take a particularly egregious example, your text would require the UK simply to accept EU state aid rules, would enable the EU and only the EU to put tariffs on trade with the UK if we breached those rules, and would require us to accept an enforcement mechanism which gives a specific role to the European Court of Justice." On which he continues quite rightly by pointing out the UK's sovereign independent position by saying, "You must see that this is simply not a provision any democratic country could sign, since it would mean that the British people could not decide our own rules to support our own industries in our own parliament." Frost also tells Barnier that the claim that the EU is offering something of unprecedented depth is not obvious on the basis of the evidence we have so far, and also that the EU should not be insisting on its version of a level playing field when no such demand was made of the US or Canada, for example. And as to the argument that the UK is too big and too close to the EU to be given free rein is ridiculous when you look at how the US and Canada deal with such things. Frost also sets out other concerns, including On governance arrangements, where you propose a structure that is not replicated in other EU agreements with third countries, except with those which aspire to join the EU. On fisheries, Frost says that the Brussels position of maintaining the current EU fishing vessel access to UK waters after the implementation period ends is clearly not realistic. And in the fishing draft legal text produced by the UK, it makes it quite clear that the UK will be taking back full control by saying, "Each party shall manage its own fisheries independently, and may take such measures in its relevant waters as it considers appropriate to ensure the rational and sustainable management of fisheries." At the end of his letter, Frost sums up the current negotiating position very neatly by saying, "Overall, at this moment in negotiations, what is on offer is not a fair free trade relationship between close economic partners, but a relatively low-quality trade agreement coming with unprecedented EU oversight of our laws and institutions." Marvellous! As others have said, after the Theresa May and Ollie Robbins comedy duo, the iron hand in the iron glove approach of Boris Johnson and David Frost must be coming as a bit of a shock to Barnier and Brussels. So let's see more of this and no more of the Northern Ireland border cave-in stuff. Anyway, if you want to hear more from me, please don't forget to subscribe and also press that little bell, or you won't get any notifications. And if you want to see more of me, buy a mug with my mug on it. So what do you think about the UK's approach to these talks? Please share and comment, and thank you for watching. Please do like and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel. And when subscribing, please do remember to press on the little bell next to the subscribe button. That way you'll get an alert every single time I put up a new video. And thank you very much for watching.